Hey everybody. Oh hey, what's going on everybody? As you can see, I've been hard at work on my next G.I. Joe model, which I promised you is none other than Cobra Commander. And let me tell you, this thing is huge. All right everyone, so we're gonna go over the build and the paint up of this beautiful masterpiece here done by Megs Empanado. He's the same artist who did the Snake Eyes and the Storm Shadow that I did videos for previously. If you missed out on those videos, go back and check them out after you watch this one here. So this beautiful piece did not go without its problems. I'll explain to you a little bit through the build and everything, but I cannot wait for the next model that he does. And according to Megs, it's going to be Serpentor. So what do you say we get started on the video? So this is the color I used for the base. I did this first, and you'll see why here in a minute, because it took a little bit of time. Now on the body, I actually repainted this like twice because I wasn't happy with the color that I originally did. I used a blue gray, then the blue shading, wasn't happy with it. And then I went back in and I painted it a blue like you see here, and I felt like this was just way too dark even after the shading. And just wasn't happy with it. So I go back for a third time and painted it, and I mixed up my own blue, and you'll see here in a minute what I come up with. So I thought maybe I could save it by adding this electric blue to the highlights, and it still just wasn't happy with it. And this is what I come up with on my first attempt, and I just wasn't happy at all. As you can see, that's not Cobra Commander.
2 hours later.
And there we go. So that's the blue that I mixed up and I was very happy with. And right here, that's why I painted the base first, because I wanted to wash it in this color. I knew it was going to take a while to dry. So I did this so I could paint my other pieces. And when I'm done with those, then this should be dry enough for me to go and finish. And here I am just adding all the black accents, the belt, the gloves, the boots on Cobra Commander. Just hand painting it flat black. Rather satisfying to hand paint because especially black, because you don't really have any hand stroke or brush strokes or anything. And then on the scepter, the same thing. I just hand painted a flat black. I'll add the gold pieces onto the top and the bottom a little bit later. Of course, this was very, very simple to paint. And on the Cobra logo, I added about 2 or 3 thin coats to this. Painting over a dark color is kind of difficult at times, but it turned out okay. And this glossy black I actually used on the helmet head. When I added the Molotov Chrome, I used it as a base coat. And one thing that I won't do again is I will not add the clear coat that I used. It took away some of the shine, but this was the head that I actually dropped. I actually had to go back and redo this one again. I actually reprinted 2 more heads because, well...
Son of a bitch!
Yeah, so I reprinted 2 more, that way I couldn't screw up any more than what I did. And on here I am just dry brushing this lighter sand color back onto the model. This is the base coat that I used, so after I put that wash on there, it darkened it up a little bit. And then I used the burnt umber to go back in with the airbrush to give it some contrast by adding in some depth into the crevices. And I'll go back in and do some more highlights on it to bring that feel back out of it again. It just makes it a little bit more three-dimensional. The base turned out really, really nice. I was very happy with how it turned out. So to tell you a little bit about Mr. Snakehead here, Mr. AKA Cobra Commander. I did have my challenges with the base and the cape, mainly because they're so damn big and they had to be printed in multiple parts. And a lot of times when you have these printed in multiple parts in resin, they don't fit together. They got gaps and seams. You have to go back over and fill and smooth, primer, sand, repeat, all that good stuff. But it turned out okay after a while. I didn't have much footage of doing the cape because I don't think that YouTube would allow some of the words that I pronounced on there in my video. But it does come with two heads, one the hooded and one the chrome shield. They just set on top. I did not magnetize them or anything because I figured they're not going to go anywhere as heavy as these things are. But they just kind of set right on top or anything. I may put magnets on them later on, but I just didn't. So the figure itself is glued onto the base. It is non-removable because of the weight of the cape in the back. It was tilting backwards. So in order to keep this thing on the base, I did have to glue it. That's one of the things I wish that was a little different, because the weight of the cape, I would like to be able to take it on and off. But I don't think this thing here is going to leave my possession, so I'm good with that. The fitment of the cape and the base and everything, it was just minor stuff. Just kept challenging me to do better. I did not want to put out the cape that still had some blemishes in it. And so it was a lot of the same process of, sanding it and primering it, sanding it and primering it until it got to a very good finish. The rest of the issues were just my fault. I dropped the cape once and broke a piece off. So I had to glue that back on, resand it, primer it, and everything else. And that was after I had it finished. And I will put a link to Megs Empanato's site or Facebook page or whatever in the description below. He does have these files for sale that if you want to print them out yourself. So as you can see, this is the first head that I actually printed and was painting, and I dropped it. And of course, there's my fingerprints all over it. Just totally messed it up. So I printed two more to make sure that if I screwed up on one, that I could go back and not have to reprint it and wait a few hours for it to reprint again. And then the next one just turned out all right, which is over there. And yes, Timber approves. Well, there you go, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the build. It was a fun build indeed. A little frustrating, but we got through it. And I do want to thank my patrons out there. And I do have one more patron to add to the bunch. His name is Matthew Ward. Thank you so much for your support. And thank you to all my subscribers and everybody who's been watching the videos. I greatly appreciate the support as we head towards our 5K. And if you want to become a member of the Patreon, make sure to click the link below in the description. We do have a Discord, not much else, but we got a good group of painters and builders on there asking questions, sharing their work, and we would love to have you aboard. Until the next video, everyone, don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment, and share the video. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to print, prep, paint, repeat, and create something. Until then, we'll see ya.